Having eggs in purgatory for breakfast today, but watch and see what I made last night. Oh my gosh, I made keto bread pudding from scratch with a combination of recipes from the Keto Twins, KY, and myself. It's great when you're able to combine your recipes for keto with other creators' recipes and come up with something that will fit into your keto lifestyle. Stay tuned. I'm having breakfast. Eggs in purgatory. I've shared that with you before. I'll give you a link. Hey everybody, it's Keto Nomad here. I'm at a new camp. I'm in Amboy, Illinois, at one of the Thousand Trails Encore parks. And I don't have an oven in my camper, so as a nomad I have to figure out other ways to cook my food. And usually I make it either on top of the stove or in my Dutch oven. But today I'm going to do it in my toaster oven here, since I have power hookup. And I'll let you look around the camp while I'm filling you in on what I'm making today. I watched a recipe that the Keto Twins made the other day in honor of Lady Di, and it is her favorite bread pudding. It looked really good, so I thought I would love to have some of that. I love bread pudding. But I'm going to make it with my own keto bread instead of store-bought keto bread like the girls used. Theirs turned out really good. And we're going to make it right there in my toaster oven. So, let's get going. I had to start out with, we're going to go inside. I had to start out with my own keto bread. I had to make that. I just cleaned up all the dishes from that. But I did the top of the keto bread got cooked a little bit more than I wanted it to. But we'll just cut that crust off because that's what the girls did. The twins, they cut the crust off. But otherwise, and the cinnamon made it a little bit darker. But it should be fine. And now it's time to make the pudding. And then we'll bake that. Hang on, let's get going. So as you can see, I cut the top off. It was just that top layer from that toaster oven. But tastes good to me. So you could see that the rest of the bread is perfect. It's great color. Look at that. So I'm going to cut it up into pieces, and I buttered the pan. And I'm going to cut it up into pieces and start prepping before I mix the custard. Okay, so I layered the bread in the bottom, and then I put a little line in the middle here, and I triangled them there. Mine were not it didn't rise as much as like store-bought bread, where you can actually cut them in triangle squares or, to make it look real fancy. But now I'm going to go ahead and make the custard. Okay, so I blew it. I was supposed to simmer the cream and the almond milk, so I used a little bit less cream than the recipe called for that the Keto Twins use. They were using 12 ounces of a heavy cream. I didn't use 12 ounces. I used 1 cup, 8 ounces. And then they used, I think, 5 ounces of almond milk. And I only used a half a cup, 4 ounces of almond milk. And then I wasn't thinking, and I just cracked I was separating my egg yolks, and I ended up putting them in the cream in that before I mixed them separately. I was supposed to cook the eggs separately with the allulose, 5 ounces of allulose, and I didn't do that. Now I forgot to put the extract in. So now I just got to go put the extract in. And I'm going to try to make the custard this way, just heating it up instead of trying to do the eggs separate from the cream and then blend it in so it didn't turn out scrambled. We'll try it this way. We'll see how it goes. And then I added 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract. And I'm just going to heat it up like this and see how it turns out. We'll see what happens. And we'll whisk it. It shouldn't scramble. We'll see. And then I'm going to pour it over the bread. Now, the Keto Twins, they buttered the bread. Each piece of bread and cut off the crust. I just buttered the pan. And the gentleman, RY was his channel, he didn't even separate the egg yolks. He just put it all together. He used the egg whites and everything. I like mine more of a custardy crumble anyway, so that's why I went ahead and took the egg whites out. Just like the Keto Twins did. We'll see how it goes. And then I'm going to pour this over the bread, and then we're going to cook it for, I forget how long. I'll see how long at 350. You know, when I make my other custard that I don't have to cook and I just stick in the refrigerator, I don't want this to be runny, so after it cooks, you know. So what I do with that one is I don't cook that one, but I add a little bit of non-flavored gelatin to it to make it a little bit more creamier, the custard. And that's what I'm going to do here. I just put a little bit of gelatin in with a little bit of water, less than like maybe a teaspoon of it. And now I'm going to just stick it in there and then blend it in really good. That's after I turn the heat off. And it'll melt up and mix up into the custard here. I'll see if that works. It works with the other recipe that I make. And it's like really good and creamy custard. And look at, I can see that that's working. So I'm going to pour this over. They tell you pour it over the bread and then let it sit for about 20 minutes before you bake it in the oven. So let me get my bread. Okay, here we go. Try to do it as evenly as I can. Yeah, that gelatin was helping. It was starting to get a little custardy at the bottom. You want it to absorb into the bread. This is supposed to be, the one that the Keto Twins made is supposed to be the one that Princess Diane likes. It was her favorite. For about 20 minutes. So when I went to London, they used to put fresh cream over all their desserts. We're going to let that absorb for about 20 minutes. I don't want anything flying in there. So I'm going to cover it with one of my cutting boards. You know, I am camping while I clean up a couple of these things over here. Okay, guys, so here I am at 9-something at night. You know, oh, that's my flashing bucket. cooking on with the toaster oven at my campsite. Yep. So it's in there. I have it on. I don't want to burn it like I did with the bread in the toaster oven. I put it at 300 instead of 350 because this gets pretty hot. For like just over 20 minutes. They said it was 30 minutes, but then they said that because they used the wrong pan, it took even longer. So I'll just check it in a little while and see how it is. In the meantime, Danny and I are going to take a walk to the trash. Oh my God, look at that. Doesn't it look good? So I put some allulose on the top of it. That's what the Keto Twins did. And then instead of torching it like you would with creme brulee, they just turned the broiler on and stuck it underneath the broiler. And that's what I did. And look at how shiny it is. So it's got that little, hopefully that little crunch. And look at that. Look at that pudding. I can't wait to taste it. It's pretty hot. I'm going to dish it up, plate it up, and I'll be back. Yum, yum. Okay, so I wish, you guys were here to see how beautiful this turned out and how pretty it looks. I'm dishing it up. So far, I'm going to put a little whipped cream on it. It looks so good. Yeah, that's what it looks like on the inside. Bread pudding. This is the way Lady Diane likes it. And it's got a little creme brulee kind of crunch on the top because of the sugar I put on there. I think I didn't put a whole lot of sugar on there. Let's get some whipped cream. You could also put like almonds on the top, or basically sometimes you put raisins in here, but raisins is too much carbs. One of the people used cranberries, and somebody else that I saw used walnuts, and each of them said that really those things didn't make any difference. They didn't enhance anything. So I didn't use them at all. I used cinnamon in here because it's in the bread, my keto bread that I make. And then the pudding, I added a little gelatin that to make it a little firmer. And I'm going to get some whipped cream and let's see how it tastes. Oops. There we go. I got to find room in my fridge for it. Look at that. Oh my God, this is really good. I like it warm. Yum. It's keto. Now it may have a lot of carbs in it. I didn't do the macros, but because cream does have, carbs in it. Whipped cream does have carbs in it, but almond milk does not have that many carbs in it, which is good. If I would have had, I don't have any homemade almond milk to use, or I would have used my homemade stuff. But my homemade bread, everything in here is from scratch. My bread, the pudding, everything, except for the whipped cream I put on the top, because I could have whipped my own cream because I had heavy whipped cream. It's late and it's good. Yummy, yummy. This is Lady Diane's favorite bread pudding. A combination of recipes from KY, that's the YouTube channel I saw, and the Keto Twins, and me, because it's my keto bread.